After a busy day on the Channel yesterday, with at least 9 small boats carrying 450 migrants making the perilous journey, that makes it more than 5,500 illegal migrants since Labour came to power 6 weeks ago, and more than 19,000 this year. How's that smashing those gangs going, eh? Home and Security editor Mark White breaks down what all this means for us.
There are probably a slightly fewer coming across than we would have expected now that we're in the height of summer. But there have been some days where it's been a bit windy in the Channel, including this week. So I was in Dover earlier in the week on the cliff top there reporting on another milestone that 5,000 migrants had crossed the Channel illegally since Labour came to power. And then we had 2 or 3 days of windy weather, and it's only now, this weekend, that things have calmed down enough to allow more boats to come. And sure enough, we had just after 11 o'clock this morning, the Border Force vessel Ranger coming in with 50-odd migrants. It returned again with another 40 migrants. Then the Border Force vessel Defender was in as well with 135 migrants on board. And so it continued throughout the day, with our producer down in Dover estimating that at least 9 small boats came into UK waters carrying more than 450 people, taking the total for the year to now more than 19,000, and of course that milestone as well to 5,500 since Labour came to power, promising to smash the gangs. They scrapped the Rwanda deal on the first day in office. It was, according to Sir Keir Starmer, a gimmick. Instead, what he wants to do is go after the people smugglers. But that's going to take some time. They haven't even managed to appoint a new senior officer in charge of this new Border Security Command, and that's over 6 weeks since Labour came to power. So they've got some way to go to achieve this goal of supposedly smashing the gangs. And while they don't do that, then all of the time when the weather improves, we'll get boat after boatload coming to the UK.
Thank you very much, Mark. Sobering stuff, isn't it? Now, let's see what my panel make of this. Former Labour advisor Scarlett Maguire and journalist Clare Muldoon are still with me. The young man, we got rid of him. He ran screaming out of the studio. We had that effect on people. So we've just heard what Mark was saying there. I mean, smashing the gangs. I mean, Labour came in talking tough. They were going to raid Nell bars, I think, at one point. Don't see much of that going on. Doesn't seem to be working so far. Claire, what do you make of this?
Well, the other worrying fact is the fact the government were wanting to set up a new Border Security Command. But are the Border Security officers not going on strike soon?
Very possibly.
You know, so they seem to be running before they can walk. Contrary to what Scarlett said during Mark's report there, I had heard that the Rwanda policy it did work in terms of keeping people away. It did act as a deterrent.
It seemed to act as a deterrent in Ireland. There was some...
And now the word is that it's not that because it's been scrapped, everyone thinks they're safe just still to come. And I'd also be interested, and I'd really quite like to know the percentage increase on those people coming over in the boats year on year. I don't think that's a statistic that we've heard or indeed that we have. Because, I mean, it's all bluster at the moment. Yes, 19,000 people so far this year have come over, but is that increased on the year? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
But
I think it
without
has increased.
Clear and concise guidelines and guidance from the government, it's going to be rampant.
Scarlett, this is something people do care about and keep their messages coming in.
They do care about, and what we should be doing is yes, you can do border command and try and stop people, but the real thing that we should be processing people. I mean, I say this over and over again, is that we are spending £8 million a day putting people up in hotels. 10 years ago, right, people would be processed within a month. And they would complain if they were left for 6 weeks. We're now talking years.
But we didn't have as many coming over then, did we? That's the thing, it's numbers.
No, because instead of spending the money on hotels, we should be spending it on people being processed. I mean, that's what... You just get in more people, and if they know they're going to be sent back, if they're just migrants, then they won't come. The Albanians, the Albanians started coming over. We heard that there were 40% of the people in the boats were Albanians. A deal was done with Albania. We don't get Albanians anymore. Albanians know they go straight back. And so what you have to do is you have to be really, really tough, and you have to say, we will take refugees, we will not take economic migrants.
OK.
I mean, I'm glad that you know that sounds all plausible, and it sounds fantastic, and I wish that did happen. But the reality is, it's not. This is the modern day slave trade. There's a huge business model out there. People are buying their way into this country, and I would far rather they didn't. I would far rather the message was, look, please don't come. This is not, you know, the grass is not greener here. We're practically at the max in terms of our own public infrastructure. We can't cope with any more. We can't deal with any more, and it's costing us too much money at the expense of British citizens, and it truly is.
And a lot of you are saying that as well. This is a message from Gary. Thank you. Good afternoon. Let's stop talking about a UK border force. We have a border water taxi service which only operates a one-way journey, France to Dover. More chance of Shogo running at next year's Derby than Labour stopping the boats.
Well, I mean, look, if you have proper processing so that people know they're going to be sent back, then they stop coming. The reason that they're coming is because nothing happens. They come over, right? And they were coming over with Rwanda. And the strangest thing was I had a young refugee turn up at my house who was going to be sent to Rwanda. And she was in Jarlsberg, and they got her bail, and she came to me. She was a Christian whose parents were already in jail in Eritrea. She moved to Ethiopia with her aunt. They then started jailing Christians in Ethiopia. I mean, she was a 22-year-old classic refugee, right? But actually, we shouldn't have been going for her. We should have been going for these people who are just economic migrants. And until that message is sent out, and until people are being processed, nothing happens.
Do you think the Rwanda scheme would have put her off making the journey across?
No, I mean, she just felt she was unlucky that she was in a hostel in Portsmouth, and they put her in Jarlsberg and said, we're going to send you on the first flight to Rwanda. And you just think, what are they doing, sending somebody who is a classic refugee who was in fear of persecution, when we know we've got lots of people in the hostels and in the hotels who are economic migrants who are not being processed.
The problem we've got here, Claire, is that all the solutions that Labour should be doing, and no one's disagree that we should be processing genuine refugees fairly, take time.
Well, it does. It takes time, and it also takes manpower. And the civil service at the moment is broken because so many of them are working from home. Look at the published statistics.
Exactly what Fred has just said, yeah.
But hold on, they're not working from home if they're assessing migrants. I mean, the people who are working from home are the people...
There's no one assessing migrants at the moment, it would appear, and that's what has to begin to happen.
And that's what has to begin to happen. I mean, that's what we need. We need lots and lots more people. We need to take the money from the hotels and actually put them into processing.